Long ago, during the time of the judges, there lived a woman named Naomi in the town of Bethlehem, in Judah. She lived peacefully with her husband Elimelech and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. But then the famine came. The earth dried, the crops withered, and hunger spread through the land. With heavy hearts and hopeful minds, Naomi and her family left their homeland, crossing into the distant land of Moab, a place foreign in language, culture, and belief. They searched for survival, and perhaps a new beginning.
We'll make it work.
We have to.
For a while, they did. But then Naomi's world began to fall apart. First, Elimelech died. The pain was sharp, but she had her sons. They were her strength. Time passed, and Mahlon and Chilion married 2 Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth. New faces, new laughter, new hope, but then more sorrow. Mahlon and Chilion too died, leaving Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah alone.
I came here full, and now I have nothing.
Word reached Naomi that the famine in Bethlehem had ended. God had provided for her people again. With tears and memories, Naomi prepared to return home. She looked at Ruth and Orpah, 2 young widows who had shared her grief, her home, and her heart.
My daughters, go back to your mother's homes. You are still young. You can remarry and start afresh.
At first, both women cried and resisted. They loved Naomi. But after much weeping, Orpah kissed her and left her heart torn, but her path chosen. But Ruth refused to leave. "Don't urge me to leave you or turn back," Ruth said. "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." And so, together, the 2 women made the long journey back to Bethlehem, one an Israelite returning in sorrow, the other a Moabite stepping into the unknown. When they arrived, the women of the town whispered, shocked to see Naomi. The women said, "Is that Naomi?" But Naomi replied bitterly, "Don't call me Naomi, which means pleasant. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has made my life very bitter." But even in the bitterness, hope stirred. It was harvest season. The fields of Bethlehem were alive with golden barley swaying in the wind. Ruth offered to go and glean, picking up leftover grain behind the harvesters to feed them both. "I will go and gather what I can." Ruth said, she ended up in the field of Boaz, a wealthy landowner, and relative of Elimelech. Boaz noticed her not just for her beauty, but her dignity. In curiosity, Boaz asked, "Who is this woman who works so hard among the gleaners?" And his workers replied, "She is the Moabite who returned with Naomi." Boaz approached Ruth with kindness, and Boaz said, "Stay in my fields, Ruth. I've told the young men not to touch you. When you're thirsty, drink from our jars." And Ruth, bowing, said, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes, though I am a foreigner?" And Boaz replied, "I've heard all that you've done for Naomi. May the Lord repay you for your kindness." That evening, Ruth returned home with an abundance of grain. And Naomi, seeing with a surprised look on her face, said, "Where did you glean today?" And Ruth answered, "In the field of a man named Boaz." And Naomi's eyes lighting up, he is a close relative, a kinsman redeemer. Naomi devised a plan, one rooted in the customs of Israel, to seek Boaz as a redeemer, someone who could marry Ruth and protect their family line. Naomi instructed Ruth to go to the threshing floor at night, once Boaz had finished eating and drinking. And Naomi said unto Ruth, "Wait until he lies down. Then uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." Ruth obeyed. In the quiet of the night, under the stars, she approached him with respect and humility. And Ruth said,
Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are a redeemer.
You have shown great kindness. I will do all that is required.
The next day, Boaz met with the other relative before the town elders. The man declined the responsibility, allowing Boaz to step in fully. Before all the people, Boaz claimed Ruth as his wife.
You are witnesses today. I have redeemed all that belonged to Elimelech and taken Ruth the Moabite as my wife.
Soon, Ruth gave birth to a son. Naomi held the child in her arms, joy returning to her heart. And Naomi, with tears of joy, said, "The Lord has not left me without a redeemer." Obed would become the father of Jesse, who would become the father of David, Israel's greatest king. And from David's line would one day come another king, the Messiah. Ruth, a woman from a foreign land, became part of God's eternal story not by force, but through faith, loyalty, and love. The story of Ruth teaches us that decisions make or mar destinies.